Ohio is in. We are projecting the battleground state of Ohio for President Barack Obama, which means you are looking at the President of the United States. Barack Obama has been reelected, the 44th president. Listen to the crowd out in Times Square. The man who came in promising the audacity of hope 4 years ago will now have a chance to promise possibility, a new future for the next 4 years. Coming up, George.
Another chapter in an improbable journey. It is well to remember right now that just 10 years ago, Barack Obama was a state senator in Illinois. Now he's a re-elected president of the United States. A very different campaign from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, he rode a wave into office, a wave of hope and change. This time, running for re-election, he had to try to beat a wave back, a wave of economic discontent. He did it with a campaign that was brutal on Mitt Romney, but also brilliant in its organizing, turning out the vote. Matthew Barry, huge victory.
And the economy had suffered, where he had a right direction number that everybody thought he could get beaten. This is going to, both sides are going to have to reflect on this, because there's many misconceptions and problems that happen, but I think the Republicans are really faced with the polls were right. All the polls were right. The Republicans argued against and said, no, we're going to do it differently. We're going to propose a different electorate. It didn't happen, and they're going to have to face a future where there's no leader of the party and an electorate that is much to their disadvantage.
He always said he was a fourth quarter closer, that he was LeBron at the very end, but I want to bring in Nicole right now for your thoughts.
Well, look, I think that this was a campaign that has always had its doubters. I mean, this was a primary where he was sort of the third, fourth, fifth choice. We romanced Chris Christie. We romanced Mitch Daniels. We fell in love with everybody who wasn't running as a party. And I think that carried over. He never really was able to get the monkey off his back. We never stopped doubting him, and I think that hurt him. I think that until his own stellar performance in that first debate, we really didn't believe in him. And I think that took its toll on Mitt Romney.
Donna, quick thought?
4 years ago, voters wanted to make history. This time around, they wanted to make a difference. They wanted to make a difference in terms of somebody who they thought was on their side to create jobs, somebody, health care, keep the country safe and sound. This is amazing. It was tough, I have to tell you, but it feels good.
George, well, there was a moment after that first debate where it looked like the president would not be re-elected, but as Diane pointed out, he closed with a kick.
He did close with a kick. He fought, both sides fought a gallant fight. Mitt Romney had a problem that I think, Nicole, you were talking about. During the Republican nominating process, the party turned first to one person and then another to try and avoid what turned out to be inevitable. If there's a winner tonight, it's the senator from Florida, Marco Rubio, because all eyes are now going to be turned to him as a man who might have a way to broaden the demographic appeal of this party.
And Barbara Walters, you've talked so much about being there with those who have lost and the first thought they have when they know it's over.
Well, I just want to say something about Obama, because the second term for many presidents who won second terms was not good. Very often in the second term, whether it was Bill Clinton or even Ronald Reagan, the second term, Richard Nixon, the second term is not a happy, it starts out happy and goes downhill. But so he now really has to prove himself in every respect. And you know, a lot of things are going to happen in his personal life, by the way, because we've been watching the two children, and it's going to be, you know, well, he is not going to be going off to college. We're going to be more involved in what they're doing now. But the biggest thing he has to do, of course, is to practice what he has been preaching. Now he really has to get those jobs.
We want to go to Jake Tapper in a moment, but first, David Muir at Romney headquarters.